Check, 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 check. Howdy, everybody. We are live. Let me see if we are live. Always got to double check with these things because you never know. Half the time we're live on, I believe, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. And thought I'd drop in here. Haven't done a quick live stream in a little bit. And obviously, we've been a little behind on podcasts for good reason. We're actually in the midst of building something very exciting. You may have seen some of it, may haven't yet, but we do have some amazing guests in the queue that I cannot wait to share with you. So make sure, one, you see this, follow me. Like this post if it brings you any value. I'm going to dive in a bit in a short period of time on what's happening after the click that's costing you sales. And of course, at any point, if you want to listen to any live stream that I do, we upload the audio to the B2B Mentors podcast network. So you can find that on all your major podcast apps. Just search B as in the letter B, 2, the number 2, B Mentors. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Podcast, wherever you like, you can find it. But I want to talk about really something that we're seeing a lot and talking about a lot and hearing quite often with our clients, with prospects we're talking to, which is, what's happening after this click, after the click in your marketing, and where a lot of leads and sales are essentially dropping off. If you're spending a lot of money on your marketing and investing to, get people to notice you, which is happening whether or not you're actually marketing or you just have sales reps, right? Or you're doing trade shows or conferences, or your whole business is built off of word of mouth, referrals, you name it, which, by the way, I'm just going to do a short kind of 3 touch points for this live stream today. But if you want to actually come into a training, like I'm doing a deep dive, a whole hour on this topic of recapturing ROI on your 24 marketing investments, you can just go to provencontent.com/ROI virtual. There's only 100 seats for this. It's free for the first 100. I will fill this quick. So if you are, you're interested in this topic and, where you're losing revenue and where you should maybe cut, refine, adjust, or even improve in recapturing those extra couple percentage points of leads and sales that are just dropping off, then come to this free virtual. provencontent.com/ROI virtual, and it is free. Now, when it comes to everything that's happening in your marketing, all roads to a sale, whether you're running ads, whether you're doing conferences, whether you claim you don't do any marketing at all, my business doesn't work like that. We're old school, right? All we do is fly out and meet our prospects, and all we do is word of mouth. Our whole business is built on referrals. By the way, your whole business is built on referrals. You're going to have a business that's struggling to grow. So that's a whole different topic. But all roads are going to eventually come through to your website. It is the number one salesperson in your company. It is the number one most important asset in your company, because no matter where your leads are sourcing from and where they're clicking through, if you're putting content out on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on TikTok, you name it, all those eyeballs are coming back to your website. So what's happening after the click is only about 2% of any of these leads, right? We'll call them leads at this stage, or potential leads, or they could be junk traffic. A lot of time people don't know, are falling out the other end of your sales pipeline. So imagine if you're able to take that 2% average across the board. Let's say for you, it's 20%. Fantastic, right? What if we can get it to 25%? What if we can get it to 30%? And, slowly increment that. What is the lifetime value of a client for you? of a customer? Someone buys something from your website. Do they just purchase one time? Do they purchase multiple times? What is the lifetime value of that? Calculate that and figure out if I can do 2 to 3% better, 5%, 20%, 30%, 40%, what would that do for your sales? What would that do for your bottom line? Just with those incremental increases. By the way, thank you for liking this. Really appreciate you. And again, also people feel free to share this too, because I'm sure there's other people in your network who are going to get great value out of this. So what happens? You cannot measure what you can't see. And the problem with your website, and the biggest challenge with your website being the best salesperson you have, the greatest asset you have in your marketing, is we often build our website or we go develop it, whether we're a startup company or we're a 45-year-old business that, you know, just went through a website refresh and an update. We never revisit it. And we never look at how do we improve it? How do we make tweaks, right? What are some of the levers that we can pull to ultimately increase that number by a few percentage points and thus creating more income from the money that we're already spending? I'm not even talking about spending more money, investing in new marketing, adding anything into your marketing at this point. Is simply just, how do I take my core asset, my website, and what do I need to do to improve that? So that's point number one. The answer to that, number one, copy and imagery is what is going to convert. Right now, people, you know, if you look at how the human brain operates, we are only able to receive about 0.0005% of all the information that's coming at us at any given point in time. So that leaves a huge percentile of information that we do not take in when we see marketing, when we see messaging, when we go and look at your website, for example. Go look at your website right now. Go pull it up and just stare at it as I'm talking about this. And so you have seconds to capture people's attention. Otherwise, you're going to lose them. And you may lose them because they get distracted. They go and look up a competitor. They go and do something else. But you have literally seconds to do that. And so copy your homepage. If you have landing pages set up, if they land on a blog, first off, are you talking about we and us and our and how we're so important? Or within that messaging, are you actually talking about you? And by you, I mean you as in the prospect that's consuming that information, the prospect that's taking that information in. And people don't buy off of logic. Believe it or not, we're not logical creatures. Who would have thought? We are emotional creatures. And because we're emotional creatures, we don't purchase off of logic, but we purchase off of pain. And do you actually know what pains you're solving? What's the actual end result of those pains that, you know, you're trying to get that that message across with your prospects? What is it that keeps them up at night? And can you communicate that in a very, very short format? That is what your website headline is intended to do, so that when people get there, they immediately resonate and they, you know, the light bulb goes off and they go, holy crap, I need to talk to these people because it speaks directly to me. Chances are you probably don't actually know what problem you're solving. I know, you know, so many marketers, business owners, it's so easy to get close to what you do that it makes it really difficult to communicate that to the end person. By the way, you guys watching, just jumping in now, I'm going to do a full-on hour into this topic, like step by step, doing this across hundreds and hundreds of websites over the years. So go to provencontent.com/ROI virtual, only 100 seats. So make sure that you save that, go there right away. It's completely free to you, but there's only 100 seats that I'm opening. I'm going to fill it very quick. We're doing that next week. Next Thursday, I believe we're doing a full hour topic on this. So you can't see what you can't measure, right? Also, that's the other side of this is data you're maybe looking at all the activity that's happening, coming in through your website, but unfortunately, data isn't telling the whole picture. I'll give you a great example of a client of ours that was seeing all this traffic. They're spending several $1,000s in pay-per-click to bring all this traffic into their website. And from the outside in, when we started talking about it, they're like, this is great. We're doing awesome. We're getting, leads where we've got traffic coming into our site. You can see the increase. All is good with the world. And so we said, okay, well, let's actually find out with data where, for no cost to them, go in and plug in a tool called ConvertAvisit. You can look it up yourself. It's called convertavisit.com. And you can even try it out for free. And literally overnight, instantaneously, within minutes of getting this software plugged into their site, we're able to see where they're losing leads. Not only where they're losing leads, but the true quality of the leads that are on their website. And it wasn't good. So they're pouring all this money into bringing this activity and getting the awareness and getting the traffic. And by the way, if you're watching this, please like this video. It really helps with others who will see it. Make sure you follow me if you don't already. What's happening after that click? And so when we plug ConvertAvisit into their site, we're actually getting better data than what they're seeing through their generic analytics, which is Google Analytics, or they have other tools out there, but it just shows you the company name instead of the actual individual, where they were sourcing from. Come to find out, this particular client was paying a lot for pay-per-click, but 90% plus of all the activity that was coming back to their website was not relevant to them. So they're really excited because they had all these numbers and these increases. But at the end of the day, the actual relevancy of that data wasn't any good. So data is important, where you're actually getting your data, how you're seeing your data, because this is what's going to determine what is happening after the click that's costing you sales. Email campaigns, for example, you do this a lot. You send an email campaign, get a big uptick of traffic to your site, and you don't visually have a really good way to see what happens. Like heat maps, great. Okay. I can see a heat map of what's happening on my site, but ultimately, how is a heat map going to, give me actual individual persona data that I can use to retarget those leads based on their activity that's there? That's why you see me touting, and I'm such a big fan of ConvertAvisit. Another side with this is on your site. I bet you haven't tested like your calls to actions. When's the last time you've actually tested new calls to actions? When is the last time you've made adjustments to your homepage? And are those calls to actions and the action you want people to take when they do find you, is it actually clear? Because, only, by the way, I hope this is, I think I had that working the right way. Sorry, guys. Let me double check here. Um, uh, uh, like only, so many websites, like you can't really tell what it is you want me to do. Only 3% of anyone in your entire buyer market is ready to actually purchase from you. And so how do you capture those who are more in the research stage? They're kind of the beginning stages of looking for a product, service, solution, a vendor, like what it is you and your team offer. And so calls to actions are so undervalued. We've tested hundreds of them over the years. I really like a call to action that we've been using consistently, and we've A/B tested it with many number of other websites, including our own. It converts at a very high rate, which is called a what I need fast form. And so what I need fast form, it kind of one tells you what it is your company offers without directly, using that as your website headline. And number two, it asks the question, hey, what are you looking for? What are the problems you're experiencing? What are the pains? Fill out this very quick check. It's like a little checkbox. put your name in there, and then boom, you got a new hot, fresh lead that you didn't have otherwise. I see many other websites that have, just learn more or find out about us or, meet our team, like as their call to action. They do it on their blogs, they do it on their landing pages, and you're just it's just a leaky bucket. You're just dropping out leads the other end and not even recognizing it. So calls to actions and then the structure of your site, obviously important. I'm going to spend more time on that on the ROI virtual, provencontent.com/ROI virtual. And another very big piece of this for your site is content. Content is currency. Content creates context as to the social proof, the value, the insights you provide. What is it that makes you unique and the thought leader without just directly saying it, but doing it in the right way? Again, why I'm such a big reason of like pumping your site full of video testimonials with your clients and success stories and case studies. By the way, you need help with that, reach out to me. Have a great resource for it because it's oftentimes hard to orchestrate it, coordinate it, edit it, distribute it, what have you. But content on your site too. Like if you go to someone's website and you're doing your research and their site is essentially doesn't have enough information or depth, I'm often also looking at content to be like, hey, are these guys even in business? Do they have an active blog? Do they have an opt-in to do a newsletter? Are they providing more value than they're asking for in return? And do they really seem to be the thought leaders? So you could be doing a lot of these other things right, but if you don't have the messaging down, right? This is static messaging that is stable on your site. And then you have your fluid messaging, which is recurring updated content that's going to your site. And then your calls to actions. If you don't have those three components working in tandem, then things are falling off, on the other end, including the data, right? Talked about convert a visit. Now the third piece is the consistency. So for example, I see a lot of companies, they spend money on PR, media, and they're driving all this traffic back to their website. And then getting people to follow them on social media, but then they're not leveraging content to further re-engage, nurture, and stay top of mind with their prospects. And so your average sales cycle could be a week, it could be 3 months, it could be a year, it could be 2-year long sales cycles, which I've seen before, depending on the company. Content is currency to continuously nurture, stay top of mind, create success stories, use that with your sales reps, use that with your email marketing, use that with social media. And you got to do it in the right way too. Everyone consumes information differently, which is where the trifecta of content is really what you need. You need a combination of not just video, but articles, visual graphic. Some people in our generation, believe it or not, which not sure if you know this, but huge majority of the buyers in any B2B market now are now millennials, right? So millennials are really taking over that buying suite. And a lot of them consume information in very small bite-sized pieces. We're used to social media and we're used to memes, right? Memeing, believe it or not, you can take very technical businesses and turn those into business memes to continuously stay in front of and nurture. So it's one thing to be able to do a really good job at reaching enough of the right people. But then what happens after you reach them is you have to stay consistently with them. And then right there in the middle of it is your website where everything's funneling through to. And you want to be able to up your chances to recapture and recoup any tiny piece, even a percentage, half a percentage, incremental increases to do much better at, getting an ROI for your marketing. If you feel like you're not getting a true, total ROI on your marketing, I guarantee it's one of these three pieces that's falling off. Now, here's what I want you to do. First off, again, if you haven't already, please like this video, share it if you found any value in it. The audio's on all the B2B Mentors podcast apps. And I have a free hour-long training we're going to be doing called Recapture Lost Revenue on your 2024 marketing investments. I'm going to go in for an hour. I'm going to answer your questions. It's going to be a lot of fun. I don't do boring, like it's not a webinar. It is a training. It's a virtual. So if you want access to that, only 100 seats. You got to register. It's on Zoom, provencontent.com/ROI virtual. provencontent.com/ROI virtual. Go there right away, register, save a seat. Let me know your thoughts on this, and appreciate you all tuning in. I will see you on the other side.